Hello and welcome back to the Nasty Metal Productions channel here at YouTube, and welcome to another Friday review. Today I am here to finally give my thoughts on Riders of the Ancient Storm, the long overdue comeback album from the mighty Heavy Load, released back on October 6th via No Remorse Records. So without further ado, let's begin. Now, before I get into giving my thoughts on Riders of the Ancient Storm, you know what I have to do. I have to do a track list rundown so I can tell you folks what are the songs that are on this album, how many tracks there are on this album, and what's the time length for this album. Since this album consists a total of 7 tracks, it clocks in at the length of 41 minutes and 42 seconds. So, these 7 tracks are kicking off with Ride the Night, We Rock the World, Valhalla Warriors, Angel Dark, Slave No More, Raven is Calling, and then finally ending with Sail Away. So there you go, folks. There's your 7 tracks. You know what that sound is, folks? I don't have to repeat myself. That is the sound of my notes that I'm about to read off of. Oh. The Walchrist brothers have been inactive for nearly 3 decades after the unfortunate flooding of their original Thunderlode studios, with finally soon returning in 2017, which eventually led to them inking the deal with No Remorse Records, starting off with the remasters of both Stronger Than Evil and Death or Glory. But also during this time, they were working on finishing their secret 4th album that had been in the works since 1986, which would turn out to be this album here, which arrived in the first week of this very month. So, how does Riders of the Ancient Storm compare? Well, this does feel like the natural progression from Stronger Than Evil, but yet somehow is much more melodic and thematically dramatic. There is obviously emphasis on layered instruments that makes these songs feel more orchestral in their delivery, like with the usage of keyboards, yet don't feel as corny as they did on that Monsters of the Night 7-inch single that it came out in 1985. Instead, they organically flow along with the music, like for example, We Rock the World, Valhalla Warriors, and the album ender, Sail Away. We Rock the World, which kinda has a slight bluesy feel to it due to its pacing, but yet doesn't come across as out of touch. Instead, it has this anthemic-like quality to it, and where the usage of the keyboards adds atmosphere, making it fit with the rest of the album. Then with Valhalla Warriors, which was the song that was first teased back in 2018 to announce this very album, is where that epic grandeur quality metal that we have come to expect from Heavy Load is greatly felt here. But yet, even with this song, that thematic, dramatic-like quality is just as emphasized here, help giving this album its own distinctive mystique to separate it from the previous others. Then we have the album closer, Sail Away, which brings all of these elements together. It's again a slower song, but with a sort of calming vibe, with the orchestral dramatic-like quality being loudly felt due to the usage of the keyboards, even some acoustic guitar parts added in to further elevate the drama of this song. These aspects just make this feel very epic, but of course, let's not yet overlook the fist-pumping like drivers that are both the opening song, Ride the Night, and Angel Dark, which round out the first half of this album. I have to say though, the one thing that I've come to notice about this album is that they specifically wanted to have each half of this album to have its own identity. And with these 2 other songs from the first half here, I feel makes it obvious. With Ride the Night, this one was a great way to open up the album, as it is a catchy hooky rocker with that epic anthemic quality to it, with its, of course, prime sing-along like choruses. Then, with Angel Dark, it's a little more progressive in its structure. This one has its grandeur element, but is combined with a sense of power, making this one the closest to a quasi-speed metal song. But with the back and forth pace changing between verse and chorus, it does kind of feel semi-prog-like, which Heavy Load had first flirted with in the beginnings. But with this song sets the tone for the second half. The second half is purely epic and is where most of that dramatic element is utilized. Slave No More, the longest one here, literally clocking at the length of 8 minutes and 17 seconds, is a slow, almost doomy song, which fits the nature of the lyrical themes here. Then with Raven is Calling, this one is pretty much the most upbeat song out of this second half, but it fits the thematic orchestral atmosphere that this second half possesses. It's a heavy song with a powerful drive, and once you get to the aforementioned Sail Away, it's all brought together. Now, for the CD copies, which includes an extra track, a bonus track that you will, titled Butterfly Whispering. It's if I pronounce this incorrectly, I apologize. Ragni Wahlquist composed acoustic instrumental that is merely 7 minutes long. It's nicely done and has an ethereal-like atmosphere to it, but I feel as if that it only relates to being just straight album filler. It's cool and all to hear, but it feels like something that works on its own, probably a great kind of track you want to play for yourself at night to wind yourself down before you head off to bed. But as, a part of this album, I don't know, but it's cool. Now, with this album being somewhat recorded in the 80s, I don't know if that means that some of the vocals were recorded in that time, though you can kind of point to songs like Valhalla Warriors, Sail Away, and maybe possibly Angel Dark for at least examples of songs that sound like they kind of were recorded in the 80s, but who knows. But maybe not all of the vocals, and maybe if all of the vocals were maybe recorded during the modern periods. But no matter what, both Wahlquist brothers sound very good on this album. I can tell that they poured their heart and soul into finishing this, but with all that said, I still don't know if I can put this one on the same level as a Death or Glory or even Stronger Than Evil, let alone the Metal Conquest EP. But this is still a good album nonetheless, and it's a great treat to finally hear new music from Heavy Load here in 2023. So, there you go folks, those are my overall thoughts on Riders of the Ancient Storm. Now, for my rating, I am giving this a 8.85 out of 10. Again, this is a pretty good album from them to begin with, but like I've stated, I don't know really is on the same sort of, let's say, level or quality type level of the sort of classic albums from these guys, but this is still a very fun album, and I think it was just great and just nice to hear something new from Heavy Load, which I think was, I can say for all of the core cult Heavy Load fans, this is what they were just waiting for a long time. And I think they pretty much got what they wanted. And even if it isn't up to par at times with those two albums, it's a nice addition to their discography. So, if you have at least checked out Riders of the Ancient Storm, if you have any thoughts, if they are positive or negative, you can leave them all in the comments section below. But if you haven't, please do check it out. So with all that said, this is Heavy Thrasher saying I'm out, and I'll see you all later. Take care, everyone. And of course, I hope all of you have a good Halloween. Ha ha ha.